Here we go then, Manchester City against Leicester City in the Adobe Women's FA Cup fifth round. Manchester City fans really must be wondering in which direction their season is about to head next. You only have to go back to the middle of November and it really did look as though Gareth Taylor's side were contenders on all fronts. But Chelsea have sprinted away in the league and now Manchester City's attentions turn to winning silverware in cup competition. Leicester, it's fair to say, have some unfinished business in the FA Cup after last season's brilliant run to the semi-finals. That all ended rather dramatically with the 117th minute goal from Martha Thomas for Tottenham to send them to the final. Today they will look to force their way to the quarter-finals here against Manchester City. Let's have a look at the teams. We start with Manchester City. Despite only playing in the League Cup semi-final against Arsenal 3 days ago, Gareth Taylor makes just two changes. Ahabi and Park come in to replace Leisel and Miedemar. That means Yamashita keeps her place in goal ahead of Keating. And there's another chance for City fans to see new signing Caroline in action. And for Leicester, Amandine Mikel makes 7 changes from the team that lost 4-1 to Everton a week ago. Ruby Mace back to face her old club, and January signings Olivia Clark and Helene Eriksdotter making their first starts for Leicester City. Well, 7 changes for Leicester. Something I think you can take one of two ways. Manchester City going really strong. And you can understand Gareth Taylor's side need to start finding some consistency as they head into their showdown matches in March, when they will play in the Champions League quarter-final and the League Cup final. Both of those matches will take place against Chelsea. Great, by the way, to see Bunny Shaw back on the bench for Manchester City after she said that she suffered racist and misogynistic abuse last Sunday after the Arsenal game. That just shouldn't exist. Not in football and not anywhere. Well, Manchester City looking to give themselves as many chances as possible to win something. Unbelievably, not lifted a trophy since 2022 when they won the League Cup. Really quite incredible when you think about the players that they've had. Well, perhaps Leicester, with all of their changes, are prioritising the league and keeping players fresh, and they have a big game at the bottom next Sunday against Villa. The alternative is that Amandine Mikel has made a decision as a direct reaction to the heavy defeat to Everton last week. Lots of new players, all with a chance to impress. Manchester City then get us underway in this Adobe Women's FA Cup fifth round tie. They have been pretty erratic of late, but they worked brilliant on Thursday in the League Cup win against Arsenal. It's in other matches where they have had a few problems though. Lost 4 of their last 6, unbelievably, in the Barclays Women's Super League, Manchester City. Defeats to Arsenal, Manchester United, Everton and Chelsea. Also lost in the Champions League against Barcelona. And the question in every Manchester City game at the moment is, which Manchester City are we going to get? Caroline, the new signing on the left, loves the hustle and bustle, loves to get forward, full of pace. This time stopped in her tracks by the Leicester City defence. Gareth Taylor with a reminder ahead of this game that Leicester are still the only team to take points from Chelsea this season. Certainly weren't at their best last Sunday in the game against Everton, demolished in the second half by Brian Sorensen's side. Away goes Park here on the right-hand side. Quick step over as she looks to deliver the cross, which she does, and it's a chance for Caroline, but it's one that she doesn't really get behind. Given away though by Shosnot at the back. Manchester City have it again. And you would imagine that this would be a familiar pattern for the game. Lots of the ball from the home side. Do like to dominate possession under Gareth Taylor. And they are into good position again. Harby into a crossing area this time. Her cross is nodded away. And Fugino is onto it, lifting into the area. Headed away by Nevin. Again, not the most convincing header away to safety, but eventually smashed on by Leicester. And again, only as far as a Manchester City player. This time Canuck, the new centre-back who has come in. They were pretty busy, Manchester City, during January, and perhaps no surprise given recent results. Olivia Clark with a clearance away. Big afternoon for her. You feel there is an opportunity for Janina Leipzig, the regular #1, to be displaced. There have been a few mistakes recently for Leicester at the back. Thinking back to the Tottenham game when there was a calamitous own goal, but also the game against Liverpool as well. Clearance away by Leipzig, leading to the Liverpool goal in that match. And a first opening for Leicester City, but it's one that's put wide by the new striker, Erik Stottir. And Leicester have really struggled for goals over the course of the season. They've scored the fewest in the Barclays Women's Super League, only 6 for the season. Plenty of injuries to contend with over the course of the campaign, to last season's 2 top goal scorers in particular. Ransela and Peterman have been out, so there are high hopes with Erik Stottir coming in that she will be the one to provide the goals that have been lacking over the course of the campaign. Harby is forced back to Yamashita. Well, this is where we have seen problems from Manchester City over the last couple of months. They are always looking to start their moves by passing out from the back. It has caught them out on a number of occasions, as we saw in the league, in the matches against both Manchester United and Arsenal in particular. Ella Toone feasting, scoring a hat-trick, with Manchester City making plenty of mistakes in that Manchester derby. But the question is, have they turned a corner after the result in the week in the League Cup? Is that just the start of Manchester City getting back into their groove? They were, of course, fabulous in the early stages of the campaign when they went 12 games unbeaten. Caroline again, not getting much change on the left-hand side from Asmita Ale, who is able to get to the touch. Harby waiting for some movement, and it's fair to say there's not too much of that ahead of her. Caroline trying to scamper away. Tierney there to make the challenge. Fed on by Mamiki, quickly lost it though. And Fugino wriggling away, trying to find some space. Caroline slips the pass into her Harby. Round the corner from Rord. Caroline there waiting, scoops out the delivery into Rord, who has managed to keep the ball in play and keep the Manchester City move alive. Manchester City into the area, but Swaby is there, cuts off the angle and gets the clearance out of play for a Manchester City throw-in. Three-time winners in the FA Cup, Manchester City. Haven't won this competition, though, since all the way back in 2020. Really does feel as though Gareth Taylor's side need to lift some silverware, especially given the moves that they make in the market. Second best in the league, time and time again, to Chelsea. And it will be Chelsea who will be keeping them on their toes for the remainder of the season, it seems. Certainly in March, when they will play them 4 times, all back-to-back. 2 games in the Champions League, the 2 quarter-final matches, and now the League Cup final, as well as the game in the Barclays Women's Super League. Leicester free kick. Well, Ruby Mace, once a Manchester City player, will be the one to take this. Looking to make her mark against her old team. It's a high line being played by the Manchester City defence. The ball, though, from Mace, all the way through and out for a goal kick. Yamashita looking for an opportunity to make her mark today. Keeps her place with Kiara Keating on the bench. You wonder, though, given the lack of goals that Leicester seem to score, how busy Yamashita will be. Manchester City were waiting for the press to arrive. It came rather slowly from Leicester at this stage in the same wavelength as Momiki, and it's easily gathered by Yamashita. Well, with all of the injuries, Leicester really have had to find a new way, had to improvise with the players that they have selected. We've seen fullbacks playing on the wing, wingers playing up front. Have a recognised striker at least through the middle today, and Erik Stotter, the new signing. Park swivels and goes wide, and the pass was directed in the direction of Fujino, picked up here by Park. She makes a driving run into the area. Fujino lifting on, good looking ball, and a vital touch in the end from Asmita Ale, who was able to glance away with Caroline waiting behind her for her chance to make her mark. Was lively, Caroline, in the game against Arsenal on the left wing on Thursday. Both of the 2 Manchester City wingers look pretty good. Fujino on one side and Caroline on the other. Very new look to this Manchester City team. Park looking to weave some more magic. Driving away. Fowler is the target. Quiet start to the game for her. Anything but on Thursday night, when she scored 2 goals and missed a penalty as well. Had the final say with the 95th minute winner to send Manchester City to the final in the League Cup. In the middle, waiting for the ball to arrive here. Patiently building Manchester City. Park onto it, feeding around the corner. Nicely done. Fujino cuts it back. Nobody there waiting in a Manchester City shirt, though, and it's Leicester who are able to bring the ball away. Fujino again, holding position on the right. supported again by Park. Here is O'Harby, and Gilroyd is quickly looked after, closed down well by the Leicester City defence. Keeping it pretty tight on the edge of their penalty area so far. Not too much space there for the Manchester City players to get through. Really haven't had trouble scoring goals over recent weeks, Manchester City. Have had trouble at the other end of the pitch, though. They were the best team defensively in the league last season, but have already conceded 18 goals in this campaign. Just to give that a bit of context, that's 12 more than Chelsea. Problems that need addressing for Gareth Taylor as we head into the business end of the season. No pressure at this stage still on the Manchester City defenders. Able to casually move up into midfield. That's a loose pass though from Fowler. Here comes Tierney. Outside of the boot to poke it wide to Shosnot, who is there waiting. And she makes a brilliant burst here into Manchester City's box. Looking for a teammate and finding Mace. Promising signs for Leicester. Well, they just hurried in that moment as the ball was sent in towards Kane. Maybe had a bit more time here than she realised. Tried to get it out from under her feet pretty quickly. And she puts the effort wide of target. Nice build-up though from Leicester. Positive signs. And a move that might just give them some confidence here. Now Caroline would have done really well to bring that one down out of the air. Just not trying to go around the outside of Manchester City and running out of pitch. And here is O'Harby. Raw's touch. Now Fowler digs out the ball over the head of Fujino on the right. O'Harby to the chasing Caroline. Darts back in the direction of Rord. Quick 1-2 to give Rord the ball back, and off she goes towards Leicester City's goal. Opens up the space for Caroline. Lovely move from Manchester City, wonderful movements. The only thing missing was that final touch. Caroline sending over the bar. Well, even at this early stage of Caroline's career with Manchester City, already showing a nice awareness and understanding of those around her. I've seen her on a number of occasions internationally for Brazil, always been such an impressive player. Big acquisition for Gareth Taylor and Manchester City. Well, at this stage for Manchester City, not quite the urgency and the slickness of passing that perhaps you would expect. And you wonder whether there is a bit of tiredness from all of the games that have come recently. Only played on Thursday in that League Cup semi-final matchup. And you certainly would feel that there is an opportunity to get under the skin of Manchester City for Leicester, given the way that recent results have panned out. It was only last Sunday that Manchester City went down to Arsenal in that dramatic game that finished 4-3. Manchester City taking the free kick quickly, and Rord scuttles away. Out towards Caroline it goes, trying to work the angle for the shot. Instead plays the pass. A pass that is in the end well intercepted by Nevin on the left. Jess Park out towards Fagino, drifting away from that position on the wing. Rord again trying to connect the dots. Still Leicester keeping it very tight on the edge of the box. Do you get the sense though that Manchester City are trying to add some intensity to their play? And it's Fagino again in a crossing position, and this time creating the chance. Rord, and now Adobe! Well, that was about as calm a finish as you'll see from Leila Adobe. A chance for Caroline, and then Rord. After Fowler had missed her opportunity, Leila Adobe wasn't missing. Found the target, rolled into the corner. Manchester City lead by a 1-0. And you really do feel that they haven't got themselves out of second gear yet. Well, Phoebe Cross, the referee, is in conversation here with Tierney, who is holding her arm and not looking entirely comfortable. Well, the Leicester defence will be kicking themselves that they didn't kick the ball away. They had plenty of chances in there to get that one clear. Manchester City's wide players, as they did in the game against Arsenal in the League Cup, causing plenty of problems. And Fagino, again, looking really excellent on that right-hand side. Went around Nevin and just whipped that ball into a really dangerous area. Well, the Leicester coaching staff are preparing, I think, to make a change here. There is the potential that the injured Sam Tierney will have to be removed. And of course, with it only being the arm, it does look as though she could continue and is having that one wrapped up. Leicester are back underway, although they only have 10 on the field. There's Dotter trying to turn. Not given much of a chance to do that by the Manchester City players, who are quickly there to crowd her out. Manchester City on the attack again. Tierney back onto the field with that arm bandaged up. And Leicester restored to 11. Canuck has brought the ball a really long way to find the goal scorer, Adobe, on the left. And now Caroline. Could be a tricky customer for Ale, and she tries to go around the outside, just as Vigino did on the opposite side for the goal moments ago. No way through for Caroline. That's a lovely touch from her to find Rord. Skillfully flicked into Rord, who's worked it wide to Vigino. She waits for support. So many Manchester City players in the final third, waiting to try and add a second goal here. Part nimble of foot, whips away from the challenge, and Caroline again on the left-hand side, looking to add some skills to proceedings. Caroline's pass, well, it's intercepted by Chosnot, who's back there, but it's instantly back with Manchester City. Rord roaming around in midfield, orchestrating proceedings, and now Vigino in a crossing position once more. Good ball, big chance, headed wide by Caroline. Well, it's a move they've tried on a number of occasions, winger to winger. Caroline stepping in from that left flank to try and head in the cross, wide of targets on this occasion. Really impressed by Vigino on the right in the game. Constant threat and a constant menace to Courtney Nevin, who has the ball here. Well, so far all rather routine for Manchester City. We've yet to see much from Leicester in attack. Dominant performance from Gareth Taylor's side, but we are still in the early stages. The lineup really did suggest from Amandine Mikel that Leicester are prioritising the league, although with lots of new faces in the lineup, lots of players looking to shine and push on to be in the first team more regularly. Rord's pass cut out by the run of Swaby. Just blocked off the angle of attack for the two players racing through, Fowler and Caroline. Manchester City pressing hard to get onto the ball and winning it high up the field, and Vigino darting away with it. Finds Fowler with the pass. It's a loose one from her. Might still be recovered here by Caroline. Instead it's Mamiki with a good challenge to win it back for Leicester. Well, Manchester City have had an unbelievable 71% of the ball so far in the match. Leicester yet to have a shot on target. Fowler dropping deep, and that is the benefit of having her in that centre-forward position. Has said that it's not her favoured position to Gareth Taylor, but he said that she's really quite good at playing there. Certainly shown that over recent games. There's really no pressure here from Leicester on the defenders, and because all of the Manchester City players are so good at using the ball and so happy to be in possession, that means they can start really dangerous attacks from the back. Amandine Mikel might have to try and change things, because all too easy for Manchester City to carry the ball forward into Leicester's half so far. Gino onto Park. Wasn't quite the pass she was hoping for, but she's managed to recover. And Casper I was chasing, but she won't get there. Here come Manchester City again. Nice pass to Fowler, who was quickly closed down. Ruby Mace quickly in with a challenge to take the ball away. Leicester continue to try to move the ball away from the back by passing, and this time they have got themselves into a better position. That final pass so lacking. Yamashita saw what was about to arrive quickly out, well anticipated by Manchester City's goalkeeper. Manchester City more direct this time. Nice touch from Park, sweeps it wide to Caroline. Bursting onto the scene here on the left-hand side. Around Ale, chips in as well. What a wonderful strike. Deserved the bow. Caroline is up and running in Manchester City colours, and she makes it two in spectacular style.
The Manchester City scorer, number 14, Caroline Nicoli.
Well, that is a goal that will please Manchester City fans, as Caroline, the Brazilian, starts to find some confidence here with a helping hand from the deflection off of Ismita Ale. Well, it was all rather one-sided when these two met back in December. Manchester City 4-0 winners. And it has been that way again. Leicester have never really got going in this game, it's fair to say. Park on the burst again. And finding Rord, quick pass out towards Caroline, going for goal! And nearly grabbing a second in the game. Leicester City happy to see the post come to the rescue. Big save here from Olivia Clark to keep the scoreline down. Well, there is a hunger from Manchester City to put up a big scoreline here, you can tell that. And Caroline went very close indeed. She's one of those really tricky wingers in that she can go both ways. And so that means the fullback is never entirely sure. what the decision is likely to be, and she's so quick in that transition, moving the ball right foot to left. You can understand why Manchester City were chasing her and why they are so happy to have her. Have of course had their own problems like Leicester. Manchester City with injury. Greenwood a big loss at the back. And Hemp of course, big loss at the other end, and those two being out of the team coinciding with a run of defeats and poor results for Manchester City. But Caroline, well, she might just start to fill the gap. With Fugino playing ever so well on the right-hand side, all of a sudden Manchester City look as though they've found a new way. Really just depends on whether or not they are able to do it against Chelsea. They have a month to warm up. They would probably like a few more, but that will not be the case. Unbelievable scheduling. 4 games against Chelsea, all one after another in March. Now Leicester City looking for a rare break up into Manchester City's half. But it's a move that breaks down pretty smartly and pretty quickly. And it's back with Manchester City. Elsewhere in the FA Cup, lots of games today, of course, in the Women's FA Cup. Arsenal are leading against London City Lionesses by a goal to nil. 35 minutes have gone there. Caroline onto the ball inside Leicester City's area. A Harvey's cutback. And Rords onto it, but forced back. No goals, by the way, in the game between Crystal Palace and Newcastle, and between Portsmouth and Sunderland. Liverpool winners against Rugby earlier on today by 2 goals to nil. Herbinger and Enderby with a late goal there to give Liverpool the win. Chelsea kicking off later today against Everton. 3 o'clock kickoff for Chelsea. Ailes big up and under. Headed away. Knutt was able to get there. Now Shosnot waiting for the run to arrive. Going to have to go on her own here. Low delivery, good looking ball as well. Smashed away in the end by Alexandri. Well, they haven't been very expansive in the game, Leicester City. But that might have to change if they want to stay in this competition. 2-0 down now. May as well start to throw a bit of caution to the wind. Although you do get the feeling there is a bit of a lack of confidence in going forward, because Amandine Mikel said in the build-up to this game, she doesn't feel as though Leicester have the balance yet between being able to attack and then not getting punished in behind. So perhaps as a direct result of the big defeat to Everton last time out, trying not to commit too many forward. They haven't tested Manchester City at all defensively so far. Given the number of goals that Manchester City have conceded recently, that's a big surprise. Alexandre passing through the lines to Park, gliding away as she can do so beautifully to try and feed the pass through to Frigino, who was waiting for it. That pass never arrived. And Leicester over halfway. Hasn't happened many times in the first half. Good build-up here. Schoss not waiting on the right. Chance to attack Harby, drifts in field. Looking for support to arrive. Has a chance to go for goal, never really gets behind it. And it's all rather easy for Yamashita. Full of purpose on the right, Schoss not. Not much behind that though. Seven minutes to go until half-time. Park drifting in field. And a lovely understanding from the Manchester City players of their surroundings in this game. They seem to know where each other are as soon as they receive the ball. Ball into the area though this time is cut out by Leicester. Ruled touch. And now Park. You do get the feeling that Manchester City are rather toying with Leicester here. Park bursting. Wide again, Frigino is the target, lifting one in, deflection on it, headed away by Ale, not completely cleared though. Harby looking for another, this time with an effort that's straight at Olivia Clark. Nice build-up, but Harby unable to force her way through this time. Crystal Palace have managed to get themselves a goal in the game against Newcastle. With just 7 minutes of that match to go, it looks as though Newcastle are heading out of the FA Cup. Here comes Hasegawa, unable to connect with her teammates. Here's Frigino, her chance to shoot. Well, for the most part in the game, has been looking to turn provider. Fiercely hit drive goal as well, saved by Olivia Clark. Manchester City looking to add a third before half-time. Piling on the shots here, good save this time by Clark. Frigino into Park. I think we might start to see those two lining up alongside each other a lot more. Frigino, brilliant from her. skillfully done. Not seen too much from Mary Fowler in this game. Plenty of goals over recent weeks. Pulled away nicely here from the Leicester City defence and got to the cutback. Nice movement. Didn't have the accuracy to go with it though. Roared onto it, trying to feed it through to Caroline, scampering away here for Manchester City, unselfishly lays the pass back towards Roared, who is unable to bring that one under control under pressure. Well, we're seeing lots of good moves on the right-hand side for Manchester City. Roared and Caroline still building that relationship. Did start in the League Cup match against Arsenal, Caroline, her first start for the club. Full of tricks though. Brazilian on the left-hand side, really unpredictable. Hard to know if she's darting left or right, spinning back on you. Roared's crossfield pass is easily cut out. And came with a rare chance to break away for Leicester. Asagawa felt the effects of Ruby Mace trying to challenge from behind, but Manchester City still have it here. And they are rather strolling towards half-time with this 2-0 lead. Roared receiving the pass, instantly looking for Caroline, instantly heading towards goal here, and it would have certainly been a test for Olivia Clark were it not for the head of Surrey Keys, who was there to make the block. Now Fowler. Gino making the burst, looked after though by Ruby Mace.
The fourth official has indicated that there will be a minimum of 2 minutes of time out. A minimum of 2 minutes.
I'm sure you heard it, a minimum of 2 minutes to be added at the end of this first half. Didn't have the break, of course, for the injury to the arm of Samtini. She bandaged that one up, okay to continue. Well, if Leicester want to stay in the FA Cup, they need to start giving Manchester City a bit more to think about, really. Hasn't been an aggressive approach. They, I think, had every opportunity to get under the skin of Manchester City here, especially given recent results. There have been a fair few defeats over the last couple of months. Just wonder, had Leicester scored an early goal, how Manchester City might have reacted and where the confidence levels were. We'll never know the answer to that now, of course. Throwing into Manchester City's penalty area. And Eric Stotter has won Leicester City a corner in what will surely be the last move of the first half here. Surely Leicester aren't about to take this one short. Ruby Mace delivers the ball in, pushed away by Yamashita and sent on its way by the Manchester City defence to take us up to half-time. Well, they have dominated and they have made it look very easy here, Gareth Taylor's side. The early goal to settle the nerves from Mohabi was just what they would have wanted here. And from there, they've never looked back. A fabulous strike from Caroline made it 2. And at the break, it's Manchester City 2, Leicester City 0. Let's have a look back, shall we, on the first half. Well, all too easy for Manchester City to create the chances on the edge of the box. And eventually one fell to Ohabi after the 3 previous attempts. She was able to put that one in. And from there, Manchester City have never looked back. Bugino really impressive on the right-hand side. Leicester have never been able to stop her. T-bun up for Caroline, who missed that time. Wasn't to be denied, though, this time around. With a helping hand from a deflection. She got her first goal in Manchester City colours. And perhaps it could have been more. And maybe it would have been, were it not for Olivia Clark, who made a brilliant stop to push onto the post. Rarely have Leicester threatened at the other end. Bugino trying to get in on the act, ran into Clark again. And then darting away, served one up for the informed Fowler, who also put one over the top. Well, it looks as though it's Manchester City heading for the next rounds in the competition, the quarter-finals of the Adobe Women's FA Cup, unless Leicester can do something pretty big in the second half. That's coming up shortly.
Go to mancity.com/quiz right now and enter your details. We're moments away from playing our free-to-enter quiz with some big City prizes. All right, so for the time being, we're going to throw down.
Olsen, oh yes.
And the Toon's ball in. Williams! Tremendous from Toon!
Swept in behind and on the run, here goes Garcia. She manages to get the wrong side of the Newcastle defence, but she can't pick out Paris. Here comes Toon, lovely effort on goal, and a fine strike from the England international. It's taken a while, but Manchester United do have the vital goal here, and they lead against Newcastle. Well, when they needed some inspiration, a flash of brilliance arrives. Toon again, fizzes in the cross, and Manchester United have goal number 2. This time it's Nikita Paris who's there, and Toon is the provider. A brilliant ball, right where she wanted it. And Nikita Paris did the rest. Lovely turn by Jace. She is so good in tight positions like that. Tisia's cross. And it will drop here for Garcia to feed through. And Nikita Paris does have her second goal after having one cancelled out at the end of the first half. This one will stand. And it was an easy finish for Nikita Paris. Mary Earps has been something of a bystander in this second half, not had too much to do. Breaking away on the right, Mallard, low cross in is a good one as well. Galton into Williams, who rattles the frame of the goal, and on the follow-up makes sure. The quickest to react as the ball bounced off of the post. Rachel Williams off of the bench to make it Manchester United 4, Newcastle 0. There's the flick onto the front post. The corner delivered in, just where Mallard wanted it. And goal number 5 arrives for Manchester United. An emphatic win for Mark Skinner's side.
United on the attack again. Here's Toon. And there is the goal from Ella Toon, a magic player who, when you gift her any space and that amount of time, is always going to look to hit the back of the net. A sumptuous strike, hit sweetly, and Manchester United get their lead. The quality United would have liked, but players like Ella Toon on the pitch and Leah Galton, he takes one moment of magic as Galton produces the cross, and the header comes in, and it is the super sub, utilising all of her experience when it is needed the most for Manchester United, who regain their lead. Good play from Galton, charging towards the byline. That is an exceptional cross, and the way that Rachel Williams has hooked to the end of it, sandwiched between two centre-backs, rising highest from these set pieces. The aerial threat that she possesses is a player that Zelen will look to pick out, and she does so again. The ball has crossed the line, and Rachel Williams gets her second and Manchester United's third, all but wrapping up progress to the quarterfinals for last season's runners-up. It looked at first glimpse that the ball had crossed the line. Perhaps there's appeals as well for the manner in which Rachel Williams was caught in a bit of a wrestle with her marker.
Zelen can have another go with the left foot. Oh, it's a lovely ball as well, and the header's in for 1-0 to Manchester United. Millie Turner, and it's taken just 8 minutes for the first goal of this quarter-final. Beautiful ball in from Zelen, and Turner attacking it at the far post. Toon touched off for Mallard. Here's Paris, can she find the finish? Yes, she can. 2-0 United. Nikita Paris doubles the lead, and Brighton are in big trouble here. Here's Mallard. Toon in space. He's just behind her. Back to Mallard again. Off the post and in for 3. Right on half-time. I think Lucia Garcia will claim that. Melvin Mallard not quite sure. She wants it. Garcia with a wry smile. Back in toward Mallard. Good header to get it away. Back in from Toon. Here's Mallard again. And Nelson. Nelson! Oh, yes. And that seals it. Manchester United are going through to the semi-finals of the FA Cup again. Lisa Nelson with a thumper. That makes up for her shocker of a miss in the first half. That was a fine finish.
Helped on towards Galton. Oh, Perisset's made a mess of that, and Galton's onto it. Lucia Garcia in the middle. Galton looking for her, finding her, and Lucia Garcia finds the net for Manchester United. Mark Skinner's side ahead, inside of the opening minute. What a start for United. Bad error from Perisset, pounced upon by Galton, Still had work to do though. Excellent cross, inch-perfect header from Lucia Garcia, and Manchester United are off to a flyer. Toon, Roy Potts in attendance. Toon, and still, Ella Toon's ball in. Williams! Manchester United double their lead. Rachel Williams with the header. And again, it's come from that left-hand side for United. Toon robbed Leupolz and then lifted it towards Williams, who got in between the two Chelsea defenders and buried the header. United in charge. Charles has guided that to Guro Wright, who's given it back to Niamh Charles, who's got the wrong side of Lucia Garcia and pops it back to Lauren James, who slams in to reduce Chelsea's deficit to 1. Great stuff this between Niamh Charles and Guro Wrighton. They got the jump on the United back line, and James, no one picking her up, and she was never going to miss that. Chelsea back in the equation right at the end of the first half. Into Ella Toon. Room to work with here for Ella Toon. And still Ella Toon. Oh! Tremendous from Toon to give Manchester United the lead in the cup final with a cracker.
Not far inside, well, I think it's just inside the Spurs half. No one's there to close her down. Spurs are too expansive. Suvanen slides in. Wow, wow. The ball's outside the width of the goal until it just curls back round at the last second. That is exceptional. I think a goal like that is one that you absolutely want to score in an FA Cup final, that's for sure. And that's a magnificent finish, and it's a reflection of the quality that someone like Ella Toon really has.
United's all-time top scorer and appearance maker.
And obviously she'll feel disappointed.
In it goes from Zelen. Queuing up again, and it's number 2. And this time, Rachel Williams has used her head to find the net. Passed up a few chances before the interval, but has now put Mark Skinner's side on the brink of an FA Cup final victory.
It's excellent delivery. Zella puts it into an area so consistently well. I think it's probably a good job Millie Turner doesn't go for it, because I think she would have been offside, but it's floated in.
One in the semi, one in the 4th round, one in the 5th, and here's another for United, and that is the FA Cup in the bag for them now. Lucia Garcia and Tottenham Hotspur are falling apart here.
It just starts to get away with her, and we spoke about Garcia in the first half. She'll chase down everything. She runs after balls that you think, why would she even bother? And she does it because this reason here, you know, she receives the ball from a mistake with a wide open net from 8 yards out.
Garcia, and Garcia again! 2 for her, 4 for Manchester United, and party time for the Reds at Wembley now. They are storming to their first piece of silverware. The FA Cup is heading to Manchester United, and they are doing it in style. A red letter day. Manchester United win their first piece of major silverware, and those in red are going wild at Wembley after the heartbreak of last season against Chelsea.
welcome back the teams for the second half. Our visitors, Leicester City, and 2 goals up, Manchester City!
Welcome back for the second half of Manchester City against Leicester City in the FA Cup. Manchester City changes for the second half. Leicester, the first of them, onto the field to replace Kasparai. And it looks as though there will be a flurry of new faces. Fowler makes way, and Bunny Shaw is back. To a big round of applause here.
The City at half-time. Coming off with number 8, Mary Fowler.
Caroline got her goal,
Number 21.
and Murphy comes on as her replacement. And Giroud also off of the field, and it's Laura Binkila who comes on in her place.
And she's replaced by number 46, Lily Murphy. And also at half-time, number 10, Jill Raw, being replaced by number 19, Laura Blinky-LeBrown. And the fourth substitution.
While Leicester really didn't provide too much in the first half, never really tested Manchester City at the back. And that has to be the challenge in the second half, as Leicester City look to get themselves back into the game. Of course, had a fabulous run in the Women's FA Cup last season, made it all the way to the semi-finals, where they played the team that knocked out Manchester City, Tottenham Hotspur, in the quarter-finals. Looks as though Manchester City are heading there again, as they look to get their hands on their some silverware, which they haven't done since 2022. Would you believe it? Leicester really do seem to have this problem away from home. Not won away from home all season in the Barclays Women's Super League. Trying to test Manchester City here with a ball to the edge of the area. There was an appeal for a Leicester City free kick, but it goes Manchester City's way. Well, it's still all, in the early minutes of the second half, far too comfortable for Manchester City. Bunny Shaw is back. Had a bit of time off during what has no doubt been a tough period. And hopefully, if there has been some abuse, as suggested, then that is stamped out pretty quickly. Hopefully Bunny Shaw is able to get herself back to her best and leave that in the past. Not something that should happen anywhere. Here is Lazelle. Honours a half-time change. Did start in the League Cup match against Arsenal. And so perhaps it's not really a surprise to see Gareth Taylor make the changes, because it would have been a bit of tiredness in the legs, although we didn't really see too much of it once Manchester City got themselves going in the first half. They have plenty of games between now and the end of the season, and so that is the responsibility and the job for Gareth Taylor to manage the minutes. Hasegawa with all of the time in the world, trying to lift it through, looking for the run of Bunny Shaw, who scored 2 against Leicester back in December in the Barclays Women's Super League game. Shot's not spinning. And running into trouble, and the challenge was certainly a hefty one to deal with her, and she has remained down here. I didn't see the fall from Shot's here. I don't know whether she may have struck the advertising boardings or whether it was the challenge more specifically that was the problem. Back up onto her feet, ready to go. Well, it's a foot race to get there, and it's one that Leicester wins, and in any case the flag was raised. Bunny Shaw gives the ball away. Ruby Mace on the spin. Skillful stuff to keep hold of it for Leicester City. And Keys goes wide to Ale on the right here. Ale's early ball turned around the corner by Tierney. It looked as though Leicester were about to be in. It was a vital interception before Eric's Dotter could get herself free inside the penalty area. And the referee, in trying to play an advantage short, no advantage forthcoming, gives Leicester a free kick in a very good area indeed, just outside of Manchester City's penalty area. Well, they haven't had too many goal-scoring opportunities in this game, Leicester. And so when they do arrive, they really have to try to take advantage of them. Phoebe Cross, the referee, making sure that she is happy that the wall is far enough away. Plenty forward here for Leicester. It's an effort on goal, though, easily gathered. Mamiki strike. An easy catch in the end for Yamashita. Bunny Shaw trying to make a nuisance of herself, but Keys is able to mop up. Hannah Kane evading challenges. into Tierney it goes. Leicester City in a promising position here, but the flag is up. Well, just for a moment, you thought the game was about to spin on its head, but then the flag went up. Well, the quarterfinals of this competition will be next for whoever is the winner here. Liverpool will be there, so too Crystal Palace after their win against Newcastle. That game is now finished. And it looks as though Sunderland might be there too. They are currently leading by 2 goals against Portsmouth. Chelsea-Everton has just got underway, that game 0-0. Arsenal leading by a goal to 0 still against London City Lionesses. Fujino onto the chasing Bunny Shaw. Bunny Shaw bursting, that's a good ball in, and it's a good header away by Leicester City. Keys rising, the highest inside the area, and she gets the ball to safety, and Leicester managed to get the free kick. More changes this time for Leicester City. And it will be Hannah Kane to make way for Nelly Lass. And Eric Stotter also goes. And it's Missy Goodwin who comes on as her replacement. Well, she has plenty of pace.
Eric Stotter is replaced by number 20, Missy Goodwin.
Scored in Leicester's most recent win in the Barclays Women's Super League against Liverpool. Win a couple of weeks ago, their first win since October in the league. Bunny Shaw waiting for the ball in the middle. Here comes the cross, and it's Shaw to meet it. And it's Clark to save it. Well, there is always that extra excitement when the ball is sent in Bunny Shaw's direction. But this time a routine save for Olivia Clark. Here is Jess Park. Going all on her own here, looking for Bunny Shaw. And she was in an offside position. Clark with a free kick, has given it straight back here to Manchester City and Leicester. Manchester City looking for more, hunting. Another ball delivered in, and again Bunny Shaw is the target. She's managed to recover the ball for Gino now. Has to head back before they can get going again. Fed on by Hasegawa for Gino. Whips in, big chance! Manchester City are storming into the FA Cup quarter-finals. Bunny Shaw rising, missed the chance only moments ago.
Number 21, Khadija Bunny Shaw!
Well, she wasn't going to miss this time. Fujino with a perfect ball, with lovely whip on it, right onto the head of Bunny Shaw. We've seen it time and time again. Simple from her. Manchester City 3, Leicester 0. Half an hour to go in the game, and the third goal, well, that really looks pretty decisive for Manchester City. Always prepared to be surprised, though. Would be a hell of a story if Leicester were to come back from here. Manchester City after more. Bunny Shaw into Jess Park, who couldn't get the ball under control to get the shot away. Alexandre. Midfield to Canuck. Steadier performance from her today. As I say that, she gives the ball away, but of course conceded the penalty in the League Cup match in the week. Would have been hoping for better, and she's there to cover and keep the ball in play for Manchester City. Manchester City do need to find some consistency at the back. There will be tougher tests than this, of course, but today a really good opportunity for the defence to get some valuable minutes together with one another. I don't think there's any doubt that this team will always score plenty of goals, given the likes of Bunny Shaw and Miedemar and Caroline and Fowler within the group. Finding that more stubborn resistance at the other end that needs to be the focus for Manchester City over the coming weeks. Sure, Gareth Taylor's side would dearly love to keep a clean sheet here today. Might have a test on their hands here, though. Free kick fizzed in, and fizzed all the way through, beyond the reach of anyone in the middle. Keys are pulled into a really nice position, away from just about everybody at the back of the area. But Mamiki was unable to find her with the pass. A couple more changes for Leicester. Shot's not the first to go.
Substitution for Leicester City coming off number 28, Shana Shoshut, and she's replaced by number 57, Sami Kashmar.
Janice Kaiman is about to come on here to replace Mamiki.
But also substitution for Leicester City number 29, Yuka Momiki, is replaced by number 11, Janice Kaiman.
Well, she's won just about everything, Janice Kaiman, and played in just about every position for Leicester City, so will be interesting to see where she lines up today. We've seen her at fullback, centre forward, just behind the forward player, defensive midfield. List goes on. Looks as though she's about to play a role which is fairly far forward here, possibly in just behind the Leicester City strikers. Leicester could certainly do with a bit of her tenacity in the game. Yellow card for the challenge. And a free kick for Manchester City. Well, there is a big story developing elsewhere in the Adobe Women's FA Cup in the game between Chelsea and Everton. Bit of a rivalry there after the game last season in the quarter-finals of this competition. A game that Everton fans certainly felt they should have won. They hit the bar twice in that match. Chelsea went on to win it. Everton feel as though they've got some unfinished business and they are on top in the game against Chelsea, leading by a goal to nil. Oh, well, what a chance, the best chance of the game so far for Leicester City. And it's one that Missy Goodwin sends sailing over the top. All rather casual for Manchester City at the back, and that's what they really have to try and stop. Really is the way under Gareth Taylor. They like to pass out from the back, but it just keeps getting them in trouble. Manchester City on their way again, bursting towards Leicester's penalty area. Just a confirmation here of the earlier yellow card for Surrey Keys. Here is Fugino. Gets away from the Leicester players. Bunny Shaw turning, but turning into trouble. Oh, Harvey. Good chance, really good chance. Sent sailing down towards that bottom corner. And this wasn't far away from being goal number 4, but crucially for Leicester, the wrong side of the post. I can understand that Leicester are perhaps prioritising developments in the league, with it looking so dicey at the bottom of the table. Just wonder if they're lost by a number of goals. Well, whether or not that might be a problem for them. Missed the earlier chance for Missy Goodwin, which she sends over the top. I wouldn't imagine that Amandine Mikel would be hoping that this is a scoreline that gets too much bigger. As Leicester look to go into their big game, which is next Sunday in the Barclays Women's Super League against Aston Villa. And look to go into that game with a bit of confidence in their step. Amandine Mikel has said that Leicester aren't identifying any specific games. That certainly looks like a match, though, where Leicester could look to earn themselves some points and crucially step away from Crystal Palace right at the bottom of the table, give themselves a bit of breathing room down there. Ball is given straight back to Fujino. Off she goes again. Kaiman this time, the challenge up, ball around her. Bunny Shaw there to meet it. Couldn't control properly, and Kaiman whips that one away. Hasegawa trying to cut it through again to Bunny Shaw. And out comes Clark, who is sliding to get there and gathers up for Leicester City. Well, given the fixtures that Manchester City have on the horizon, they might be hoping for one of the easier teams, I'm sure they are, in the following round of this competition in the quarter-finals. I'm sure they'd be very happy to get themselves a game against Sunderland, or maybe Crystal Palace. Would be really quite ridiculous if it were to be Chelsea in the quarter-finals for Manchester City. That would mean 5 games between them between now and the end of the season. As it stands, though, Chelsea not going through to the next round. Still behind against Everton. Here is Park. Looked after by Swaby. Park had the speed to get back, had the determination more than anything. Maybe a bit of surprise not to see Gareth Taylor bring on Laura Veenroyd from the bench, who has recently joined from Arsenal on loan. Would have thought this would have been a good opportunity to try and get her some minutes in the game, but perhaps trying to build a partnership at the back between Alexandri and Canuck. That one just beyond Park, who was at full stretch and couldn't get there. And now Goodwin trying to go around the outside and build a Leicester breakaway. Still has Lazell there for company. And Fujino too, trying to offer a helping hand. But Missy Goodwin's done really well. Nevin's pass into Ruby Mace. Never really got enough of a chance with her mates at Manchester City. And in her words, feels a lot more free with Leicester. More of an opportunity to express herself. Hasn't had much of a chance to do that in this game. Leicester have been pretty swamped. Well, Laura Veenreuter will get her chance with 15 minutes of the game to go.
Substitution
Alexandri will be replaced.
Alexandri. She's being replaced by number 13, making the Manchester City Navy. Please welcome Laura Veenreuter.
And Leicester making a change too. Tierney is replaced by Sherwood.
Substitution for Leicester City, the number 3, Sam Tierney, was replaced by number
Bunny
4,
Shaw
Sam
battling together
Isabella Shaw.
on the edge of her own penalty area. Manchester City trying to split Leicester open, giving the ball away. And Missy Goodwin has been bright since coming on, tries to release the pass. Nevin was making a burst into the space for Gino there to cover. Tricky game coming up for Manchester City next week in the Barclays Women's Super League when they face Liverpool, the later game on the Sunday. Got the North London derby between Arsenal and Tottenham too to look forward to. And it's another game for Chelsea in the league against Everton. Doesn't seem to be too much that can stop Chelsea though in the Barclays Women's Super League, even despite the FA Cup result, which looks to be heading Everton's way as it stands. Here is Murphy. Murphy's low ball into the side netting. Well, she's been full of good energy on that side of the field so far, Murphy. Was trying to work the goalkeeper. Has a touch of the Lauren Hemp about the way that she moves. Sure that she won't mind that comparison one bit. Here is Hasegawa. And Veenreuter gets a touch to go back here towards Lezel. Gino allowed to travel a long way, and the cutback was good, and what an opportunity for Laura Blinkila, who can only direct the header wide of the post. Well, for Gino is a huge problem that Leicester have never got to grips with in this game. Another brilliant run, and another good chance for Manchester City. Just can't find that fourth goal. Here is Park. Well, there's no real rush now for Manchester City to make it forward. They can just calmly roll the ball around. And it looks as though Leicester have given up any hope of securing anything in the game. In truth, they've never really troubled Manchester City all that much. Leicester fans, I'm sure, will be hoping that it's a very different performance next time out in the league, because, well, I think there will be a few that are slightly worried after this one and the last against Everton. Ruby Mace charging away, and unselfishly lays the pass through, and Leicester do breach the Manchester City defence, and maybe, just maybe, have given themselves a chance in this game from nowhere.
Goal for Leicester City scored by number 53, Nelly Platt.
Well, Ruby Mace, the creator against the roadside, and Lass went for power, slammed it into the corner. Manchester City 3, Leicester 1 now. Well, this does make things interesting, because Manchester City have looked pretty shaky over the last few weeks at the back, and I just wonder how conceding a goal will affect them here, if at all, because they've been in control all the way through this game. But how much confidence do they have? It's a goal that's certainly given the Leicester City players bits of bite, bits of heart, feeling that perhaps there is a chance for them here. Well, Leicester have won it high up the field, and Kaiman's onto it. Kaiman sees the runners arriving. Sherwood trying to make a nuisance of herself, parking there to win it back for Manchester City. through the legs of Swaby. Bunny Shaw waiting for teammates to arrive, but it's Courtney Nevin who is able to guide the ball back to Olivia Clark. Manchester City doing their best after conceding the goal to keep hold of possession, keep Leicester away from it, manage the game through. 5 minutes just over to do that, plus some additional time. Haven't had any major stoppages in the game, a few substitutions which will add a few seconds. Nice transition from Manchester City. Shaw and Park wants it in the middle. And Bunny Shaw was the target, but the ball never arrived. And Leizal is happy to go out here towards the right to Fugino. Into Bunny Shaw. Her chance to turn and have a run at the Leicester defence. Fugino gets it back, was trying to return the favour, but in doing so she has fouled Ruby Mace, who wins the free kick. Header away by Leizal is sent straight back by Leicester, and now Missy Goodwin gets clear. Fugino scrapping to win it, but still Missy Goodwin going along the left-hand side here, making good ground and making things pretty awkward here for Manchester City. Nevin. Well, she gets it back. Missy Goodwin wrestling to find a way through. Wienreuter battling with her. Certainly not the easy final few minutes of the game that Manchester City and Gareth Taylor would have had in mind here. Leizal not taking any risks. Crossing opportunity developing here for Leicester City. Plenty up in the box waiting for it. And there is the ball in that will come all the way through to Nevin, who drives it. Just skewed away at the last minute. Initially looked as though that was sailing towards the top corner. Just drifted away. Minimum of 3 minutes to be added then at the end of the 90.
Four officials indicating that be a minimum of 3 minutes to time it off. A minimum of
And it
3
could
minutes.
be a pretty frantic final 3 minutes, you feel. The seconds are slipping away from Leicester City though. The fight back has, perhaps unless something really dramatic happens, come a bit too late from them. But you never know in football, anything can happen. Would be the story of the weekend if Leicester were to fight back from here, having been 3 behind. Messi Goodwin gets the ball forwards as quickly as possible. Leicester's had to backtrack. Leicester have a corner. Well, here is that Leicester City corner. And Yamashita went diving in at the front post, only to see the ball headed away from her. Nevin's done well. Bunny Shaw back there with the defensive header away. Manchester City then will be in the draw for the Adobe Women's FA Cup quarter-finals. An accomplished win that they had wrapped up pretty early, it has to be said. Goals from Ohabi, from Caroline, the new signing, and then from Bunny Shaw to make it Manchester City 3, Leicester City 1.
And City are into the next round of the FA Cup.
Now let's have a look back at the game. Well, Caroline threatened early on. A warning sign, perhaps, it certainly was. 3 players had a chance to score before Ohabi was able to tuck that one into the corner and set Manchester City on their way. Calm finish from the Manchester City defender. Caroline then had an opportunity to get her first Manchester City goal, missed that one, scored this time as it ricocheted up into the top corner. And she could have had more. Top save from Olivia Clark to push onto the post and deny her the opportunity to do that. Fugino was excellent on the right. On both flanks, Manchester City were a consistent threat with both Fugino and Caroline consistently running at the Leicester City fullbacks. And it was Fugino again who delivered, this time for Bunny Shaw, to make it 3 in the second half. And then there was a bit of a Leicester City fight back. Missy Goodwin with a chance that was sent over the top of the bar. Leicester were to have their moment though, and it did look as though Manchester City might regret not making it 4 as Ruby Mace burst clear, fed one through to Lass, who smashed into the corner, just to make things slightly nervy at the end of the game for Manchester City. And had this gone in from Nevin, well, maybe it would have been a different story at the end of the game. In the end, Manchester City dominance, and it will be Manchester City who will be there in this season's Adobe Women's FA Cup quarter-final. Thanks for being here. Manchester City 3, Leicester City 1. Here's how it finishes.
Bye.